My son handed me a cup of tea and smiled. The same smile he gave me when he was 7 and broke my favorite vase. I should have known right then something was wrong. But when your own child offers you tea, you don't think about poison. You think about love. I was wrong. Before we get into this story, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button right now, because what I'm about to tell you will make you question everyone sitting at your Thanksgiving table. And if you've ever felt like your own family was plotting against you, drop a comment and let me know I'm not alone. Now, let's get into this mess. My name is Evelyn Richardson. I'm 73 years old. I've been a deaconess at Faith Tabernacle Baptist Church for 41 years. I raised 4 children by myself after my husband James died from a heart attack when I was 35. I worked 2 jobs. Morning shift as a school cafeteria manager. Night shift cleaning offices downtown. I bought my house in Southwest Atlanta in 1984 for $52,000. Today, it's worth $670,000. My oldest son, Sean, called me last Tuesday. His voice sounded different, strained. "Ma," he said, "we need to have a family meeting. All of us. This Sunday after church." A family meeting about what, baby? I asked. He hesitated. "About your future, Ma. We're all worried about you." "Worried about what?" "Just come to Sunday dinner. We'll talk then." I showed up at my own house Sunday afternoon after service. I always host Sunday dinner. Fried chicken, collard greens, macaroni and cheese, cornbread, the whole spread. But when I walked into my kitchen, my daughter-in-law Tamika was already cooking, using my pots, my stove, my kitchen like it was hers. "Tamika, baby, what are you doing?" I asked. She didn't even turn around. "We thought you should relax today, Mother Evelyn. Let us handle the cooking." My daughter Shanice was setting the table. My youngest son Jerome was in the living room with his wife Nicole. And Sean sat at the head of my dining room table. The head, where I always sit. "Ma, sit down," Sean said. He pointed to a chair at the side. Not the head, the side. In my own house. I sat down slowly. Something felt wrong. The air was thick, tense. Tamika brought me a cup of tea. "Here, Mother Evelyn. Chamomile. To help you relax." I took the cup. It was warm. Smelled sweet. I started to drink it, but Shanice's eyes flickered to Sean for just a second. Just a fraction of a moment. But I caught it. I set the cup down. "So," I said, "what's this family meeting about?" Sean folded his hands on the table. He looked at Shanice. She looked at Jerome. Jerome looked at his wife Nicole. Like they'd rehearsed this. "Ma," Sean started, "we've been talking, and we think it's time for you to make some changes." "Changes like what?" "Living arrangements," Shanice said quickly. "You're getting older, Mama. This house is too much for you. Too many stairs. Too much yard work. Too much maintenance." "I maintain my house just fine," I said. Jerome jumped in. "Ma, you're 73. You shouldn't be climbing ladders to change light bulbs or mowing the lawn in this heat." "I pay a lawn service," I replied, "and I haven't climbed a ladder in 5 years." Nicole spoke up for the first time. Her voice was soft but calculated. "Mother Evelyn, we found a beautiful senior living community. Brand new. Activities every day. Nurses on staff. Transportation to church. You'd love it." I looked at each of them. My children. The babies I raised. The ones I sacrificed everything for. And they were trying to put me in a home. "How much does this senior living community cost?" I asked. Sean waved his hand. "Don't worry about that, Ma. We'll handle it." "With my money," I said. The room went quiet. Tamika tried to smile. "Mother Evelyn, we're just trying to help." "Help me out of my house," I said, Sean's jaw tightened. Ma, be reasonable. You can't live here forever. What happens when you fall? When you get sick? When you can't take care of yourself? I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. I said, right now, I'm healthy. I'm capable. And I'm staying in my house. Shanice leaned forward. Mama, we already put down a deposit. My blood went cold. You what? At the senior community, she said, we put down a $5,000 deposit. In your name. Your move-in date is next month. I stood up. My hands were shaking. You had no right. Sean stood too. Ma, we're your children. We have every right to make sure you're taken care of. Taken care of? I repeated. Or taken advantage of. His eyes flashed. What's that supposed to mean? I picked up my purse. It means this meeting is over. Get out of my house. Nobody moved. I said, get out. Sean stepped closer. Ma, you're being unreasonable. We're trying to help you, and you're acting paranoid. Paranoid, I said. That's an interesting word. Because last month, someone tried to access my bank account online. The bank called me, asked if I authorized a password reset request. I said no. They traced the IP address to this neighborhood, to a house 3 streets over. I looked at Sean. Your house, Sean. His face went blank. I don't know what you're talking about. The bank has records. I said, timestamps. Everything. Shanice grabbed her purse. Mama, you're confused. I'm not confused. I said, I'm awake, and I want all of you out. Now, they left. Slowly, reluctantly. Sean was the last one out the door. He turned back and looked at me with something I'd never seen in his eyes before. Hatred. After they were gone, I locked the door, went to my bedroom, and cried for an hour. Then I called my cousin Loretta. She's a paralegal, been working in estate law for 28 years. Loretta, I said, I need a lawyer. Today. What happened? My children are trying to steal my house. She didn't even hesitate. I'll make some calls. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about that cup of tea. The way Tamika smiled when she handed it to me. The way Shanice's eyes flickered to Sean. I got up at 2 a.m. and poured the tea into a glass jar, sealed it tight, wrote the date on it with a marker. I didn't know why I was saving it, but something told me I'd need it later. I met with attorney Jacqueline Hayes on Monday morning. She's a black woman in her 50s, natural hair, sharp eyes, no-nonsense energy. Her office was in a high-rise downtown. Professional, expensive-looking. Mrs. Richardson, she said, shaking my hand. Your cousin Loretta speaks very highly of you. Tell me what's going on. I told her everything. The family meeting, the senior living community, the bank account access attempt, the tea I'd saved in a jar. She wrote notes the entire time. When I finished, she looked up. Mrs. Richardson, do you have any reason to believe your children might try to have you declared incompetent? My stomach dropped. What? It's a common tactic, she said. Adult children who want control of a parent's assets will sometimes petition the court for guardianship. They claim the parent is no longer capable of making sound decisions. If a judge agrees, they get legal control. Bank accounts, property, everything. Can they do that? I asked. If they have evidence, she said. Medical records, witness testimony, documented incidents of confusion or poor judgment. I'm not confused, I said firmly. I manage my own bills. I drive. I cook. I clean. I'm sharper than half the people at my church. She smiled. I believe you, but we need to prove it. I'm going to refer you to a neuropsychologist, Dr. Raymond Foster. He'll conduct a comprehensive cognitive assessment. If you pass, and I believe you will have documentation of your mental capacity. And the tea? I asked. She looked at the jar I brought. We'll have it tested. If there's anything in there that shouldn't be, that's evidence of attempted harm, possibly attempted poisoning. The word hung in the air. Poisoning. You think my son tried to poison me? I whispered. I think your son tried to give you something, she said carefully. And I think we need to find out what it was. I went to see Dr. Foster that afternoon. He was a tall black man with glasses and a gentle voice. He spent 3 hours testing me. Memory games, pattern recognition, math problems, word associations. By the end, I was exhausted. Mrs. Richardson, he said, you're functioning at a very high cognitive level for your age. There's no evidence of dementia, Alzheimer's, or any cognitive impairment. Your memory is excellent. Your reasoning is sharp. You're completely capable of managing your own affairs. I almost cried. Can you put that in writing? Absolutely, he said. 2 days later, the lab results came back on the T. Attorney Hayes called me. Her voice was tight, controlled. Mrs. Richardson, you need to come to my office. Now, when I got there, she had a report on her desk. She slid it across to me. The T tested positive for crushed Ambien. She said, a heavy dose, enough to make you disoriented, confused, possibly unable to remember conversations or events clearly. My hands started shaking. Why would they do that? To build a case, she said. If you're regularly disoriented or forgetful, they can claim you're incompetent. They could even record you while you're under the influence and use that as evidence in court. I felt sick. My own son. Mrs. Richardson, she said gently, we need to decide how you want to proceed. We can file a police report. We can pursue criminal charges. Or we can handle this civilly and focus on protecting your assets. What do you recommend? Both, she said. File the police report. Get it on record. But also, we need to lock down your estate immediately. Living trust, healthcare directives, power of attorney documents that specifically exclude your children. We need to make sure that even if they try to claim incompetence, they can't touch anything you own. I nodded. Do it. Over the next week, Attorney Hayes worked fast. We created a revocable living trust, transferred my house into it, named a corporate trustee, added a no-contest clause that would cut out anyone who challenged the trust, and I named my goddaughter Keisha Monroe as my backup decision-maker. Not my children. Keisha, the woman who visited me every Sunday, who took me to my doctor's appointments, who loved me without wanting anything in return. When everything was signed, Attorney Hayes looked at me seriously. Mrs. Richardson, your children are going to find out about this eventually. And when they do, they're going to be furious. Let them be furious, I said. They tried to drug me. She nodded. There's one more thing. I think you should install security cameras. Inside your house and outside. If they try anything else, we'll have proof. I hired a security company that same day. Cameras in my living room, kitchen, front door, back door, driveway, all connected to my phone, all recording 24/7. 3 days later, Sean showed up at my door. I watched him on my phone camera before I answered. He was holding flowers, smiling, like nothing had happened. I opened the door, but didn't invite him in. Hey, Ma, he said. His voice was warm. Fake. I wanted to apologize for the other day. We came on too strong. We're just worried about you. I'm fine, I said. I know, Ma. I know. Look, I brought you these. He held out the flowers. Peace offering. I didn't take them. Sean, why did you try to access my bank account? His smile faltered. Ma, I told you. I don't know what you're talking about. The bank has records. Then the bank made a mistake, he said. Ma, I would never do that. I'm your son. I love you. Do you? I asked. He looked hurt. Of course I do. Then why did you put Ambien in my tea? His face went blank, completely blank, like a mask falling off. I don't know what you're talking about, he said slowly. I had it tested. I said, lab confirmed it. Crushed sleeping pills. A heavy dose. He stared at me. Then he started laughing. Not a real laugh. A cold, hollow sound. Ma, you're paranoid. That's exactly what we were talking about. You're seeing things that aren't there. The lab results are real, I said. He stepped closer. His voice dropped. Who's going to believe you, Ma? A 73-year-old woman claiming her own son is trying to poison her? You sound crazy. Get off my porch, I said. This is going to end badly for you. He said quietly, you're making enemies of your own family. And when you need us, we won't be there. I don't need enemies. I said, I already have you. I closed the door in his face, and I watched on my camera as he stood there for a full minute, staring at my door, with pure rage on his face. Then he pulled out his phone and made a call. I couldn't hear what he said, but I watched his lips move, and I read 2 words clearly. Do it. The next morning, I got a knock on my door at 7 a.m. I checked my camera. 2 police officers. My stomach dropped. I opened the door. Can I help you? The older officer, a black man with gray at his temples, spoke first. Ma'am, are you Evelyn Richardson? Yes. We received a welfare check request. Your son Sean called. He's concerned about your well-being. Says you've been acting erratic and paranoid. May we come in? I wanted to slam the door, but I knew that would look bad. Of course, I said. They came inside, looked around. My house was clean, organized, nothing out of place. The younger officer, a Latina woman, smiled gently. Mrs. Richardson, how are you feeling today? I'm fine, I said. Your son mentioned you've been making some unusual accusations, claiming someone is trying to poison you. It's not a claim, I said. It's a fact. I have lab results. Both officers looked at each other. Ma'am, the older officer said, do you have these lab results? I went to my filing cabinet and pulled out the report, handed it to him. He read it. His expression changed. This says the substance tested positive for zolpidem. That's Ambien. I know, I said. My son gave me tea. I didn't drink all of it. I had it tested. The younger officer wrote something in her notepad. Mrs. Richardson, have you filed a police report about this? Not yet, I said. My attorney advised me to get documentation first. You have an attorney? Yes, Jacqueline Hayes. Here's her card. I handed it over. The older officer took a photo of it with his phone. Mrs. Richardson, he said carefully, this is a serious allegation. If someone is attempting to drug you, that's a crime. But we need to investigate properly. Would you be willing to file a formal report? Yes, I said. And would you be willing to take a cognitive assessment, just so we can document your mental state? I already did, I said. I pulled out Dr. Foster's report. 96th percentile for my age group. No signs of cognitive impairment. The younger officer read it and nodded. Ma'am, you're very prepared. I have to be, I said. My own children are trying to take everything I've worked for. The older officer closed his notepad. Mrs. Richardson, I'm going to be honest with you. Your son presented a very different picture. He said you've been forgetting things, getting confused, making accusations against family members. But everything you've shown us suggests otherwise. He's lying, I said. We're starting to see that, he replied. Here's what I recommend. File that police report today. Keep documenting everything. And if your son or anyone else shows up here and makes you feel unsafe, call 911 immediately. After they left, I called Attorney Hayes. They sent police to my house, I said, for a welfare check. Yes. Did you show them the lab results and the cognitive assessment? Yes. She was quiet for a moment. Good. That's actually very good. Now, there's a police record that you're competent and that you have legitimate concerns. That's going to help us if this goes to court. You think it's going to court? I think your son is escalating, she said. And yes, I think he's going to try to have you declared incompetent. We need to be ready. That afternoon, I went to the police station and filed a formal report. Attempted poisoning, attempted financial exploitation. The detective assigned to my case was a middle-aged black woman named Detective Simmons. She read everything. The lab results, the cognitive assessment, the bank records showing the attempted account access. Mrs. Richardson, she said, this is elder abuse, financial and physical. We're going to investigate, but I need you to understand something. Cases like this are hard to prosecute. Family members claim they were just trying to help. Juries are sympathetic to children who say they were worried about their aging parent, even when there's evidence. I asked, even then, she said, but we'll build the strongest case we can. I left the police station feeling defeated. My own son was trying to destroy me, and the system was set up to protect him. When I got home, there was a car in my driveway. Shanice's car. I checked my cameras. She was on my front porch, looking through my mail slot. I called out from my car. Shanice, what are you doing? She jumped, turned around. Mama, I was just checking on you. You weren't answering your phone. My phone is fine, I said. Why are you going through my mail? I wasn't. I was worried. Sean said the police came by this morning. They did, I said. He called them, lied to them, said I was incompetent. Her face softened into fake concern. Mama, nobody said you're incompetent. We're just worried. About my house, I said. About you. Shanice, I need you to leave. Her expression hardened. Mama, you're making a mistake. We're family. We're supposed to take care of each other. Then why did Sean try to drug me? She blinked. What? The tea. It had Ambien in it. I had it tested. She laughed. A nervous, high-pitched sound. Mama, that's ridiculous. Sean wouldn't. I have lab results. I said. Her laugh died. You're really going to accuse your own son of trying to poison you? I'm going to tell the truth, I said. She stepped closer. Her voice dropped. Mama, if you keep doing this, you're going to lose us. All of us. Is that what you want? To die alone in this house? Better alone than surrounded by people trying to kill me. I said. She looked at me like I'd slapped her. Then she got in her car and peeled out of my driveway. So fast she left tire marks. I went inside and watched the camera footage. Shanice had been trying to look through my mail slot. Why? Then I realized they were looking for documents, legal papers, anything that would tell them what I'd done with my estate. They didn't know about the trust yet, but they were about to find out. 2 weeks later, I got served with papers. Right on my front porch, a process server handed me a manila envelope and walked away. I opened it with shaking hands. Petition for emergency guardianship. Sean, Shanice, and Jerome were petitioning the court to have me declared incapacitated. They wanted full control of my finances, my property, my medical decisions. Everything. The hearing was scheduled for 10 days away. I called Attorney Hayes immediately. They filed. I said, I know, she replied. I just got the notice. Don't panic. We expected this. We're ready. The next 10 days were hell. My phone rang constantly. Family members I hadn't heard from in years calling to check on me. All of them asking the same questions. Was I okay? Was I taking my medications? Had I been forgetting things? They were building their case, gathering statements. I didn't answer any of them. On the morning of the hearing, I put on my Sunday best, navy blue dress, pearls, the same outfit I wore when I was honored as Deaconess of the Year. I wanted the judge to see me as I was, dignified, capable, strong. Attorney Hayes met me at the courthouse. She had 2 briefcases full of documents. Remember, she said, stay calm. Answer questions clearly. Don't let them rattle you. We walked into the courtroom. Sean, Shanice, and Jerome were already there with their attorney, a white man in an expensive suit. He looked at me like I was already a victory. My children wouldn't even look at me. The judge was a black woman in her 60s, Judge Patricia Morrison. She had a reputation for being fair but tough. This is a petition for emergency guardianship, she said. The petitioners are the adult children of the respondent, Evelyn Richardson. They claim Mrs. Richardson is no longer capable of managing her own affairs. Petitioners, present your case. Their attorney stood. Your Honor, Mrs. Richardson is 73 years old. Over the past 6 months, her children have observed significant cognitive decline. She's been making false accusations against family members. She's been paranoid. She's been exhibiting erratic behavior. We have witness statements from multiple family members documenting these concerns. He handed a stack of papers to the judge. Judge Morrison read them. These are affidavits from family members. Do you have any medical evidence? The attorney hesitated. Your Honor, Mrs. Richardson has refused to see a doctor for evaluation. That's a lie, I said. Judge Morrison looked at me. Mrs. Richardson, you'll have your turn to speak. But do you have representation? Attorney Hayes stood. Yes, Your Honor. Jacqueline Hayes on behalf of Mrs. Richardson. Good, the judge said. Proceed with your case. Counselor. Their attorney called Sean to the stand first. My son walked up, put his hand on the Bible, and swore to tell the truth. Then he lied for 20 minutes straight. He said I'd been forgetting to pay bills. Lie. I had automatic payments set up. He said I'd been getting confused about dates and times. Lie. I had a calendar on my phone, and I'd never missed an appointment. He said I'd accused him of trying to steal from me without any proof. Lie. The bank had records. He said I'd become hostile and aggressive toward family members who were just trying to help. Lie. They were trying to help themselves to my assets. When their attorney finished, Judge Morrison turned to Attorney Hayes. Cross-examination? Yes, Your Honor. Attorney Hayes stood and walked toward Sean. She didn't smile. She didn't waste time. Mr. Richardson, you testified that your mother has been forgetting to pay bills. Do you have any evidence of missed payments? Late notices? Shut-off warnings? Sean shifted in his seat. Well, no, but yes or no, Mr. Richardson? No. You testified that she's been confused about dates and times. Has she missed any doctor's appointments? I don't know. Has she missed any church services? No. Has she failed to show up for any family events? No, but yes or no? No. Attorney Hayes pulled out a document. Mr. Richardson, did you attempt to access your mother's bank account on February 14th of this year? His face went pale. I don't recall. Let me refresh your memory. She handed the document to the judge. This is a report from First National Bank documenting an attempted password reset on Mrs. Richardson's online banking account. The IP address traces back to your home address. Did you attempt to access your mother's bank account without her permission? I was trying to help her pay bills, he said, without her knowledge or consent. She wasn't thinking clearly. But you just testified she hasn't missed any bill payments. He didn't answer. Mr. Richardson, did you give your mother tea containing crushed Ambien on March 5th? No. You're under oath. I said no. Attorney Hayes pulled out another document. This is a laboratory analysis of a substance provided by Mrs. Richardson. The substance tested positive for zolpidem, commonly known as Ambien. The sample was taken from a cup of tea you gave her on March 5th. Mrs. Richardson's goddaughter, Keisha Monroe, was present and witnessed you handing her the cup. Did you give your mother tea containing crushed Ambien? The courtroom went silent. Sean looked at his attorney. His attorney looked at the floor. I want to invoke my Fifth Amendment right, Sean said. Judge Morrison leaned forward. Excuse me? I invoke my Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. The judge's eyes narrowed. Mr. Richardson, you're not on trial. This is a civil guardianship hearing. But invoking the Fifth Amendment in this context is noted. She looked at Attorney Hayes. Continue. No further questions, Your Honor. Sean stepped down. He looked sick. Shanice was called next. She testified that I'd been acting paranoid, hostile, and irrational, that I'd accused family members of terrible things without proof, that I needed help managing my life. Attorney Hayes destroyed her too. Ms. Richardson, you testified that your mother has been acting paranoid. Can you give me a specific example? She accused Sean of trying to poison her. And we've just established that there is laboratory evidence of Ambien in tea he gave her. Is that paranoia or is that accurate observation? Shanice's mouth opened and closed. You testified that your mother needs help managing her life. Are you aware that she scored in the 96th percentile on a comprehensive cognitive assessment administered by a board-certified neuropsychologist? Yes or no? No. Are you aware that your mother manages a stock portfolio worth over $300,000 with zero losses over the past 5 years? I didn't know that. Are you aware that she volunteers at her church, drives herself to appointments, and maintains her home independently? I guess. You guess. So you're asking this court to strip your mother of her autonomy based on guesses and assumptions rather than facts. Shanice started crying. Judge Morrison called a recess. During the recess, Attorney Hayes pulled me aside. You're doing great, she said. Just stay calm. We're about to present our case, and it's going to hit them hard. When court resumed, Judge Morrison looked at Attorney Hayes. Defense may present their case. Attorney Hayes stood. Your Honor, I'd like to call Mrs. Evelyn Richardson to the stand. I walked up, put my hand on the Bible, and swore to tell the truth. Attorney Hayes smiled at me. Mrs. Richardson, how old are you? 73. And how long have you lived in your current home? 40 years. I bought it in 1984. Do you live alone? Yes. Who manages your household bills? I do. I have automatic payments set up for utilities. Mortgage was paid off 12 years ago. Property taxes are paid through escrow. Who manages your medical care? I do. I have a primary care physician, a cardiologist, and a physical therapist. I see them all regularly. I manage my own medications. Have you ever missed an appointment? Not in the last 10 years. Who manages your finances? I do. I have checking and savings accounts. I manage a stock portfolio. I review my statements every month. Have you ever been late on a payment? No. Mrs. Richardson, your children claim you've been exhibiting cognitive decline. Have you noticed any memory problems? No. Have you been evaluated by a medical professional? Yes. Dr. Raymond Foster, a neuropsychologist. He conducted a full cognitive assessment. Attorney Hayes handed the judge a document. Your Honor, this is Dr. Foster's report. It shows that Mrs. Richardson is functioning at a high cognitive level with no signs of dementia or impairment. Judge Morrison read it carefully. Attorney Hayes continued. Mrs. Richardson, your son Sean gave you tea on March 5th. What happened? He handed me a cup and told me to drink it. said it would help me relax. But I noticed my daughter, Shanice, looking at him strangely. It made me suspicious. So I only took a small sip and later poured the rest into a jar. Why did you do that? Because something felt wrong. I've raised 4 children. I know when something isn't right. What did you do with the tea? I had it tested at a laboratory. It came back positive for crushed Ambien. A heavy dose. How did that make you feel? My voice broke, like my own son was trying to hurt me. Attorney Hayes let that sit for a moment. Mrs. Richardson, why do you think your children filed this petition? They want my house. It's worth over $600,000. They've been trying to get me to move into a senior living facility so they can sell it. Did they discuss this with you? Yes, at a family meeting. They told me they'd already put down a $5,000 deposit at a facility without my knowledge or consent. How did you respond? I told them no. It's my house. I'm not leaving. And what happened after that? Sean tried to access my bank account. The bank caught it and called me. Then he tried to drug me. Then they filed this petition. Judge Morrison leaned forward. Mrs. Richardson, do you have evidence of the bank access attempt? Yes, Your Honor. Attorney Hayes handed over the bank report. The judge read it. Her expression darkened. This shows an attempted password reset from Mr. Sean Richardson's IP address. Yes, Your Honor, Attorney Hayes said. Mrs. Richardson's children have engaged in a coordinated effort to gain control of her assets. They've attempted financial exploitation. They've attempted to drug her. And now they're attempting to use the court system to strip her of her rights. She pulled out another stack of documents. I'd like to submit into evidence Mrs. Richardson's financial records for the past 5 years. Clean. No missed payments. No erratic spending. I'd also like to submit her medical records showing regular checkups and proper medication management. And I'd like to submit affidavits from her goddaughter Keisha Monroe, her pastor Reverend Williams, and 3 longtime friends, all stating that Mrs. Richardson is sharp, capable, and independent. Judge Morrison took everything. Read everything. The courtroom was silent for 5 full minutes. Finally, she looked up. I've reviewed all the evidence. The petitioners have presented vague claims of cognitive decline without any medical evidence. The respondent has presented clear documentation of mental capacity, financial competency, and independent living. Furthermore, there is evidence suggesting the petitioners have engaged in financial exploitation and potential poisoning. She looked at Sean. Mr. Richardson, you invoked the Fifth Amendment when asked about the drug tea. That is your right. But in a civil proceeding, I can draw negative inferences from that invocation. She looked at their attorney. Counsel, your clients have not met their burden of proof. This petition is denied. Sean shot to his feet. Your Honor, you can't. Sit down, Mr. Richardson. Judge Morrison said sharply, I can and I have. This petition is denied. Mrs. Richardson retains full autonomy over her person and her property. She turned to me. Mrs. Richardson, I'm also issuing a protective order. Your children are prohibited from accessing your financial accounts, entering your property without your express permission, or contacting you except through legal counsel. Violation of this order will result in contempt charges. Shanice started crying. Jerome put his head in his hands. Sean stared at me with pure rage. Judge Morrison wasn't done. Furthermore, I'm referring this matter to the District Attorney's Office for investigation of elder abuse, attempted poisoning, and financial exploitation. These are serious criminal allegations, and they will be investigated thoroughly. She banged her gavel. Court is adjourned. I sat there, shaking. I'd won, but I didn't feel victorious. I felt heartbroken because my children, the babies I'd raised, had just tried to destroy me in open court, and they'd failed. But the war wasn't over. The threatening messages started that same night. My phone buzzed at 11 p.m. A text from a number I didn't recognize. You're going to regret this. Then another. You really think you're safe in that house alone? Then another. Old woman. You don't have much time left anyway. I screenshot every single one and forwarded them to Attorney Hayes and Detective Simmons. Detective Simmons called me within minutes. Mrs. Richardson, are you home alone? Yes. Lock all your doors and windows. I'm sending a patrol car to your house right now. 20 minutes later, a police car pulled up in front of my house. 2 officers knocked on my door. I let them in. Ma'am, the older officer said, we're going to do a perimeter check. Make sure no one's outside. And we're going to stay parked in front of your house tonight. You think they'd actually hurt me? I asked. He looked at me seriously. Ma'am, you just humiliated your children in court and got them referred for criminal investigation. People do desperate things when they're cornered. They checked every window, every door, every lock, found nothing, but they stayed outside all night anyway. I didn't sleep. The next morning, I got a call from my bank. Mrs. Richardson, this is Kevin from First National. We've had another attempted access on your account. This time someone tried to claim they were you and requested a wire transfer of $50,000. My blood ran cold when, this morning at 9 a.m., the request came from a branch location in Buckhead. A woman claiming to be you presented what appeared to be your ID. But our fraud system flagged it because we have notes on your account about previous attempted access. What happened? We denied the transaction and called you, Mrs. Richardson. Whoever this was had a fake ID with your name and information. This is identity theft. Did you get security footage? Yes, and we've already contacted the police. I called Attorney Hayes immediately. They tried to wire $50,000 out of my account using a fake ID. She was quiet for a moment. They're panicking. This is good for our case, but dangerous for you. I'm going to request an emergency hearing to freeze all your accounts and require in-person verification with you present for any transactions. Can they do that? They just tried, and they'll try again. That afternoon, Detective Simmons called. Mrs. Richardson, we pulled the security footage from the bank. It was your daughter, Shanice. She presented a fake ID with your name and tried to authorize a $50,000 wire transfer to an account in her name. I closed my eyes. What happens now? We're filing charges. Identity theft. Attempted fraud. She'll be arrested. When? Today. I should have felt vindicated. Instead, I just felt sad. That evening, my phone rang. It was Tamika, Sean's wife. You're really going to let them arrest Shanice? She hissed. I didn't arrest her. She committed a crime. She's your daughter. And she tried to steal $50,000 from me. You're tearing this family apart, Tamika said. Her voice was shaking. Do you know what people are saying at church? That you're accusing your own children of trying to poison you. That you're senile and paranoid. You're embarrassing all of us. Then maybe you should stop committing crimes. I said, Sean was just trying to help you relax with that tea. You're blowing everything out of proportion. The lab said it had Ambien in it. So what? People take Ambien to sleep. He was trying to help you rest. Without telling me? That's called drugging someone. She was quiet for a moment. Then her voice dropped. You're going to die alone, Evelyn. Your children won't come to your funeral. Your grandchildren won't remember you. You'll be buried and forgotten. And for what? A house? Money? Was it worth it? Yes, I said, because it's mine. I earned it, and I won't let anyone take it from me. She hung up. I sat in my living room and cried, not because I was wrong, but because I was right. And being right had cost me my family. 3 days later, Shanice was arrested. Mugshot on the news. Charges: identity theft, attempted fraud, elder financial abuse. The story went viral locally. Woman arrested for trying to steal from elderly mother. My phone exploded with calls. Church members, old co-workers, neighbors. Everyone wanted to know if it was true. I stopped answering. Pastor Williams came to my house. Sister Evelyn, he said gently, the church is praying for you. This must be incredibly painful. It is, I said. Do you want to talk about reconciliation? I'd be happy to mediate a conversation between you and your children. I looked at him. This man had baptized my children, married Sean and Tamika, prayed over my husband's casket. Pastor, I said, they tried to poison me. They tried to steal from me. They tried to have me declared incompetent so they could take everything I own. What exactly am I supposed to reconcile with? He sighed. I understand your pain, but the Bible says to forgive 70 times 7. The Bible also says children should honor their parents. I replied, where's that verse when you're talking to them? He didn't have an answer for that. After he left, I sat alone in my house and realized something. I'd won the legal battle, but I'd lost everything else. The district attorney's office moved fast. Within 2 weeks, they'd filed formal charges against Sean and Shanice. Sean, attempted poisoning, elder abuse, attempted financial exploitation. Shanice, identity theft, fraud, attempted theft, elder financial abuse. Jerome wasn't charged. Apparently, he'd only gone along with the guardianship petition, but hadn't actively participated in the poisoning or fraud attempts. He called me one night. His voice was shaking. Ma, I didn't know. I swear I didn't know what they were doing. You sat in that courtroom and testified against me. I said, I know. I'm sorry. I thought they were right. That you were struggling. I didn't know about the tea or the bank stuff. I swear. Jerome, you're 41 years old. You're not a child. You chose to believe them instead of talking to me directly. I know, Ma. I messed up. Is there any way to fix this? I don't know. I said honestly. Right now, I need space. Okay, I understand. But Ma, I love you. And I'm sorry. He hung up before I could respond. A week later, Sean's attorney called Attorney Hayes requesting a meeting. They want to negotiate, she told me. Negotiate what? A plea deal. And probably want you to drop the civil suit. What civil suit? She smiled. The one I'm about to file. For damages, emotional distress, attempted theft, pain, and suffering. We're going for everything. Within 48 hours, we'd filed a civil lawsuit against Sean and Shanice for $500,000. Their attorney called again, this time asking for a settlement conference. We met at Attorney Hayes' office. Sean and Shanice came with their lawyer. They looked terrible. Sean had lost weight. Shanice's hair wasn't done. They both had dark circles under their eyes. I almost felt sorry for them. Almost. Their attorney spoke first. Mrs. Richardson, my clients want to apologize. They made terrible mistakes driven by misguided concern. Misguided concern doesn't involve crushed sleeping pills, Attorney Hayes said. He cleared his throat. They're willing to admit fault. They'll plead guilty to reduce charges. And they're asking you to drop the civil suit. In exchange for what? I asked. Their apology and a promise to never contact you again. I looked at Sean. Do you have anything to say to me? He looked at the table. I'm sorry, Ma. Look at me when you apologize. He looked up. His eyes were red. I'm sorry. I got caught up. Tamika kept talking about how much the house was worth, how we could pay off our debts, how you didn't need all that space. And I convinced myself we were doing the right thing. By drugging me? I just wanted you to sleep, to be calm, so we could talk to you reasonably, without me knowing what you put in my drink. I said, "That's poisoning, Sean. That's a crime." He started crying. "I know, Ma. I know. I'm sorry." I looked at Shanice. "And you? Anything to say?" She was crying too. "Mama, I'm sorry. I was desperate. My husband lost his job. We're behind on our mortgage. I saw all that money in your account, and I thought you wouldn't miss it. You thought I was old and stupid and wouldn't notice," I said. She sobbed. Their attorney tried again. "Mrs. Richardson, they're willing to accept criminal probation, community service, and restitution. They'll sign an agreement never to contest your estate. They'll stay away from you completely. All they're asking is that you drop the civil suit." I looked at Attorney Hayes. "What do you think?" "It's your decision," she said. "But the civil suit gives us leverage. It ensures they'll never come after you again, because they'll be financially devastated if they do." I turned back to Sean and Shanice. "You want me to drop the suit?" "Please, Ma," Sean whispered. "Then I want something in writing. A confession. A full admission of what you did and why you did it. Signed. Notarized. I want it on record that you tried to poison me, steal from me, and destroy me. And I want you to agree that if you ever come near me again, the civil suit gets filed immediately with triple damages." Their attorney started to object, but Sean cut him off. "Okay, I'll do it." Shanice nodded. "Me too." We drew up the agreement that day. They both signed, confessed to everything, agreed to probation, restitution, and permanent distance from me. As they were leaving, Sean turned back. "Ma, do you think you'll ever forgive us?" I looked at my oldest son, the boy I used to rock to sleep, the man who tried to poison me for a house. "I don't know, Sean. Ask me in 10 years. He nodded and left. And I sat in that conference room and finally let myself breathe. After everything was finalized, I went home and sat in my living room. The house felt empty, quiet. For the first time in my life, I understood what people meant when they said you could be surrounded by things and still feel alone. My phone rang. It was Keisha, my goddaughter. "Mama Evelyn, how are you holding up?" Just hearing her voice made me cry. "I don't know, baby. I won, but I feel like I lost. I'm coming over," she said. "I'm bringing dinner." "You don't have to. I'm already on my way." She showed up 30 minutes later with a full meal from Pascal's. Fried chicken, mac and cheese, collard greens, cornbread. My favorites. We sat at my kitchen table and ate in comfortable silence for a while. Then she reached across and took my hand. "Mama Evelyn, I know this hurts, but you did the right thing." "Did I?" I asked. "They're my children. Maybe I should have just given them what they wanted. And let them poison you? Steal from you?" "No." Her voice was firm. "You taught me something when I was growing up. You said, 'Baby, love without respect is just manipulation.' They didn't respect you. They saw you as an obstacle. I failed them somehow. I said, I raised them to be better than this." "You raised them right," she said. "They chose wrong. That's on them, not you." We talked for hours. She reminded me of all the good things I still had. My health, my home, my church, my real friends. "And you have me," she said. "I'm not going anywhere." After she left, I felt lighter. Not healed, but lighter. The next Sunday, I went to church. I almost didn't go. I was afraid of what people would say, what they'd think. But when I walked into the sanctuary, Mother Bailey stood up from her pew and started clapping. Then Deacon Morris stood up and clapped. Then Sister Jenkins. Then the whole congregation. They gave me a standing ovation. Pastor Williams came down from the pulpit and hugged me. Sister Evelyn, he said loud enough for everyone to hear. We've been praying for you. We're proud of you. You stood up for yourself when it wasn't easy. That takes courage. I cried through the whole service. After church, people came up to me one by one. My daughter tried the same thing to me. One woman said, I was too scared to fight back. You inspired me. My son was stealing from me for years. Another woman said, I reported him last week because of your story. I realized something then. My pain had a purpose. My story was helping other people find their courage. Over the next few months, I built a new life, a quieter life, but a fuller one. I started volunteering at a senior legal aid clinic, helping other elderly people recognize and fight financial abuse. I joined a support group for elders dealing with family estrangement. I spent more time with Keisha and her children. They became my family, real family, the kind that showed up not because they wanted something, but because they cared. Jerome reached out again after 6 months. Ma, can I come see you? Just to talk. I thought about it for a long time. Then I said yes. He came to my house on a Saturday afternoon, brought flowers, sat on my couch, and cried. Ma, I didn't know. I really didn't know what Sean and Shanice were doing. I thought we were helping you. I was stupid, and I'm sorry. Jerome, you testified in court that I was incompetent. I know, and I was wrong. I've been going to therapy, trying to understand why I just went along with them, why I didn't question anything. And what did you learn? That I was a coward. He said, I didn't want to be the one who disagreed. I didn't want to be cut out. So I just followed along. And I hurt you. I looked at my youngest son. He'd always been the follower, even as a kid. Jerome, I can't just forgive and forget. But I'm willing to start over. Slowly. That's all I'm asking, he said. We started having coffee once a month. Just talking, rebuilding trust one conversation at a time. It wasn't perfect, but it was something. Sean and Shanice, I haven't spoken to in 2 years. They sent cards on my birthday. On Christmas. I don't open them. Tamika divorced Sean. Apparently, she couldn't handle being married to a convicted felon. The irony wasn't lost on me. My grandchildren reached out when they turned 18. Sean's kids. They wanted to know my side of the story. I told them the truth. All of it. They apologized for their father. Said they didn't know. I meet them for lunch sometimes. They're good kids. Not responsible for their parents' choices. Last month, I updated my will again. Keisha gets the house. Jerome gets a portion of my savings, but only if he continues therapy and maintains our relationship. My grandchildren get education funds. Sean and Shanice get nothing. And I'm at peace with that. Because I learned something through all of this. Family isn't who you're born to. Family is who shows up, who stays, who loves you without trying to profit from it. And by that definition, I have a beautiful family. I should have known it was too quiet. 18 months after the court case, after the criminal charges, after the signed confessions, my phone rang at 11 p.m. on a Thursday. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. Hello. Heavy breathing. Then a woman's voice, slurred and angry. You think you won, old lady? You think you're safe? My heart started racing. Who is this? This is your daughter. Your real daughter. The one you threw away like trash. Shanice. Don't say my name like you care. She was drunk. Or high. Or both. You destroyed my life. I can't get a job. I can't rent an apartment. My record shows up on every background check. My husband left me. My kids won't talk to me. And it's all your fault. Shanice, you did this to yourself. I did it for my family. I was trying to survive. And you had all that money just sitting there doing nothing. You didn't need it. You're gonna die soon anyway. Shanice, you're drunk. Hang up and sleep it off. No, I want you to know something. I want you to know that I hate you. I hope you die alone in that house. I hope you fall down those stairs and nobody finds you for weeks. I hung up. My hands were shaking. I called Detective Simmons. Mrs. Richardson, are you okay? I told her about the call. Did you record it? No. Okay. I'm going to send officers to Shanice's last known address, and I'm going to contact her probation officer. Harassing you violates the protective order and her probation terms. The next morning, Detective Simmons called back. We picked up Shanice last night. She was intoxicated and violated her probation by contacting you. She's back in custody. For how long? 60 days minimum. Possibly longer if the judge decides she's a threat. I should have felt relieved. Instead, I just felt tired. That afternoon, Sean called from a different number, but I recognized his voice immediately. Ma, you really had Shanice arrested again. She called me drunk and threatening. She violated her probation. She's struggling, Ma. She's depressed. She's broke. She needed help, not jail. Then she should have called a therapist, not me. You're heartless, he said. Your own daughter is suffering, and you don't even care. Sean, she told me she hopes I die alone and fall down my stairs. What part of that sounds like someone who deserves my sympathy? She was drunk. And whose fault is that? Mine? I'm the reason she got drunk and called me with death wishes. He was quiet for a moment. Then his voice changed. Got colder. You're going to regret this, Ma. Karma is real. Is that a threat? It's a fact. You can't treat people like this and expect no consequences. The consequences were yours to face when you poisoned me. I said, don't call me again. I hung up and immediately called Attorney Hayes. They're both contacting me, violating the protective order. I'll file for contempt charges, she said, and we're going to request that the protective order be extended and strengthened. No phone calls, no third-party contact, nothing. 2 weeks later, we were back in court. Judge Morrison was not happy. Mr. Richardson, you were ordered to have no contact with your mother. Why did you call her? Sean stood up. He'd gained weight, looked older, tired. Your Honor, she's my mother. My sister was in crisis, and I thought she should know. By calling her directly and telling her she'll face karmic consequences. Judge Morrison read from the transcript Detective Simmons had provided. That sounds like a threat, Mr. Richardson. It wasn't a threat. It was just, I was upset. You're in violation of a court order. That's 30 days in county jail for contempt. Sean's face went white. Your Honor, I have a job. You should have thought about that before you violated my order. Bailiff, take him into custody. I watched them handcuff my son and lead him away. He looked back at me once, not with hatred this time, with something worse. Defeat. After court, Attorney Hayes pulled me aside. Mrs. Richardson, I need to warn you. When people feel cornered and desperate, they escalate. Sean and Shanice have both violated protective orders. They're both facing jail time. They're both financially ruined. I wouldn't be surprised if they try something more drastic. Like what? I don't know. But I want you to be careful. Keep your security cameras running. Don't answer the door for anyone you don't know. And if you see either of them anywhere near your property, call 911 immediately. I went home that night and checked every lock twice. I didn't sleep well. And I was right not to. It happened 3 weeks later, 2 a.m. on a Wednesday. My security alarm went off, screaming through the house. I jolted awake, heart pounding. I grabbed my phone and pulled up the security camera app. Someone was at my back door. wearing dark clothes, a hood, trying to pry the door open with a crowbar. I dialed 911 with shaking fingers. 911, what's your emergency? Someone's breaking into my house. 247 Oakwood Drive. I'm 73 years old, and I'm alone. Stay on the line, ma'am. Officers are on the way. Where are you in the house? My bedroom. Second floor. Lock the door and stay there. I locked the door and watched the camera feed. The person got the back door open, came inside, walked through my kitchen, my living room, started up the stairs. I could hear footsteps. They're coming upstairs. I whispered into the phone. Officers are 2 minutes away. Stay quiet. Stay hidden. The footsteps got closer. I heard them stop outside my bedroom door. The doorknob turned, locked. Then I heard something that made my blood freeze. A voice, muffled by the hood, but familiar. Ma, I know you're in there. Open the door. Sean, Ma, we need to talk. Just open the door. The police are coming, I said through the door. Leave now. I just want to talk. You broke into my house at 2 a.m. with a crowbar. Because you won't answer my calls. You won't see me. What was I supposed to do? Not break into my house. I heard sirens. Sean heard them too. Ma, please. I'm desperate. I lost my job. Tamika's gone. My kids won't talk to me. I got evicted. I have nothing. Nothing. And you're sitting in this big house with all this money, and you won't even help your own son. The sirens got louder. I have to go, he said. But Ma, this isn't over. You're going to help me, one way or another. I heard him run down the stairs, heard the back door slam. Then I heard police shouting. Police! Get on the ground. More shouting, scuffling, then silence. A knock on my front door. Mrs. Richardson, this is Officer Williams. It's safe to come out. I open my bedroom door on shaking legs, walk downstairs. 2 officers were in my living room. A female officer helped me to the couch. Ma'am, are you hurt? No. We apprehended the suspect. It was your son, Sean Richardson. He's in custody. What's going to happen to him? He'll be charged with breaking and entering, burglary, violation of a protective order, and possibly attempted assault. Given his prior convictions and probation violations, he's looking at serious prison time. I put my head in my hands. Prison. My son was going to prison. The officer sat next to me. Ma'am, I know this is hard, but he broke into your house in the middle of the night. If we hadn't gotten here when we did, this could have ended very differently. I knew what she meant. He could have hurt me. Or worse. Detective Simmons showed up 20 minutes later. Mrs. Richardson, we need to process your house as a crime scene. We'll need photos of the damaged door, fingerprints, everything. And I need to ask you some questions. She sat across from me and pulled out a notepad. Did Sean say anything to you? I told her everything. About him demanding money. About him saying one way or another. Her face hardened. That sounds like a threat. Combined with the break-in, we're going to push for maximum charges. How long will he go to prison for? With his record, 3 to 5 years minimum. 3 to 5 years. My son, in prison, because of me. No, because of him, because of his choices. I had to keep reminding myself of that. After the police left, I called Keisha. Mama Evelyn, oh my God, are you okay? I don't know, I said honestly. Can you come over? She was there in 15 minutes. Hugged me tight, made me tea, real tea, without anything in it. You can't stay here tonight, she said. Pack a bag. You're staying with me. I can't leave my house. Yes, you can. They already violated it once. Until Sean is locked up, you're not safe here. She was right. I packed a bag and went to her house, slept in her guest room, woke up the next morning to the smell of bacon and the sound of her kids getting ready for school. Normal. Safe. Family. The family I chose. Sean's trial was set for 4 months later. The prosecutor, a sharp black woman named Angela Price, met with me beforehand. Mrs. Richardson, I need you to understand something. This trial is going to be hard. The defense is going to paint Sean as a desperate son who was just trying to reconnect with his mother. They're going to make you look cold and heartless. I know, I said. Can you handle that? I've been handling it for 2 years. She nodded. Good, because we're going to win this. But it's going to hurt. The trial started on a Monday. The courtroom was packed. Local news was there. Apparently, my story had gotten attention. Elderly woman fights back against abusive children made good headlines. Sean sat at the defense table in a suit. He'd lost more weight, looked gaunt. His attorney was a public defender who looked fresh out of law school. The prosecutor laid out the case. The poisoning, the identity theft, the guardianship attempt, the protective order violations, and finally, the break-in. She called me to the stand first. Mrs. Richardson, can you tell the jury about the night of the break-in? I told them everything. The alarm, the cameras, Sean's voice outside my door, his threat about one way or another. How did you feel in that moment? Terrified. I thought my own son was going to hurt me. Do you believe he would have hurt you if the police hadn't arrived? Sean's attorney objected. Speculation. Sustained. The judge said, but the jury had heard the question. The defense called Sean to the stand. He cried through most of his testimony. I wasn't trying to hurt my mother. I was desperate. I'd lost everything. I just wanted to talk to her, to ask for help. I know I shouldn't have broken in, but I didn't know what else to do. Why didn't you just call her? She blocked my number. She won't see me. She cut me out of her life, completely. Do you love your mother? Yes, more than anything. I made mistakes, terrible mistakes, but I never wanted to hurt her. I just wanted her to help me, like she used to when I was a kid. His attorney asked, Mr. Richardson, if you could say anything to your mother right now, what would it be? Sean looked at me, tears streaming down his face. Ma, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I know I messed up. I know I hurt you, but you're my mother. Doesn't that mean anything? Don't you love me anymore? The courtroom was silent. The prosecutor stood up for cross-examination. Mr. Richardson, you testified that you love your mother. Is that correct? Yes. And you testified that you just wanted to talk to her. Is that correct? Yes. Mr. Richardson, do you show love by crushing sleeping pills into someone's tea without their knowledge? He looked down. No. Do you show love by trying to steal $50,000 using a fake ID? No. Do you show love by trying to have someone declared incompetent so you can control their assets? I thought she needed help. Yes or no, Mr. Richardson? No. Do you show love by breaking into someone's home at 2 a.m. with a crowbar? I was desperate. Yes or no? No. So your definition of love involves drugging, stealing, lying, and breaking and entering. Is that correct? That's not fair. Answer the question. No, that's not love. Then what is it, Mr. Richardson? He didn't answer. I'll tell you what it is. It's abuse. It's exploitation. It's greed. And the fact that you're sitting here crying and calling it love doesn't change what it actually is. The jury deliberated for 3 hours. Guilty on all counts. The judge sentenced Sean to 4 years in state prison. I sat in the courtroom and watched them take him away in handcuffs. He looked back at me one last time. Ma, please, don't let them do this. I said nothing. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed me. Mrs. Richardson, how do you feel about your son going to prison? Mrs. Richardson, do you regret pressing charges? Mrs. Richardson, will you visit him in prison? Attorney Hayes pushed through them. No comment. Mrs. Richardson has no comment. We got into her car and drove away. How are you? She asked. I don't know. I said, I won, but it doesn't feel like winning. That's because it's not a win, she said gently. It's survival. You did what you had to do to protect yourself. That night, I sat in my house, the one I'd fought so hard to keep, and I felt completely alone. Keisha called. Mama Evelyn, I saw the news. I'm coming over. You don't have to. I'm already on my way. She came. We sat together. She didn't try to make me feel better. She just sat with me in the pain. You did the right thing, she said finally. Then why does it hurt so much? Because you loved him. You still love him. And that's okay. I cried in her arms. For my son. For the family I'd lost. For the life I'd imagined versus the life I was living. But I didn't regret my choices. Because I was still here. Still standing. Still in my home. And that was worth something. It's been 3 years since that trial. 3 years since I watched my son go to prison. 3 years since I stood up to my own children and said no. People ask me all the time, do you regret it? The answer is complicated. Do I regret protecting myself? No. Do I regret losing my children? Every single day. But here's what I've learned. And I need you to hear this, especially if you're watching this and dealing with your own family trying to take advantage of you. You cannot set yourself on fire to keep other people warm. I'm 76 years old now. I still live in my house. The one I bought in 1984. The one I fought for. The one that's worth over $700,000 now. Sean got out of prison 8 months ago. He's on parole. He's not allowed to contact me. But I heard through Jerome that he's working at a warehouse, living in a halfway house, trying to rebuild his life. Shanice finished her probation 2 years ago. She moved to Florida, doesn't talk to anyone in the family. I heard she's remarried. I hope she's happy. I really do. Jerome and I have coffee every other week. We're rebuilding. Slowly. He's in therapy. He's dealing with why he went along with everything. He apologized 1,000 times. I'm learning to forgive. Not forget, but forgive. My grandchildren visit sometimes. They're adults now. They understand what happened. They don't blame me. They actually thanked me for showing them what it looks like to stand up for yourself even when it costs you everything. Keisha is still my rock. She and her family come over every Sunday for dinner. Her kids call me Grandma Evelyn. They're the family I needed, the family I chose. My house is exactly the way I want it. My money is protected in a trust that will go to people who actually love me, not people who see me as a bank account. And I sleep peacefully at night, knowing that I protected myself when no one else would. But here's the thing I want you to understand. The thing that keeps me up sometimes. I love my children. I still love my children, even after everything they did. And that love is what made this so hard. If I didn't love them, walking away would have been easy. But I did love them. I do love them. I just love myself more. And that's not selfish. That's survival. Closing CTA, powerful ending. If you're watching this and you're dealing with family members who are trying to exploit you, manipulate you, or take advantage of your age, your kindness, or your resources, I want you to hear me clearly. You have the right to protect yourself, even from your own children, even from people you love, even when it hurts. Document everything. Get cameras. Get lawyers. Get protection orders if you need them. And don't let anyone make you feel guilty for refusing to be victimized. I lost my children to save myself, and I would make the same choice again. Because at the end of the day, the person you have to live with is yourself. And I can look in the mirror knowing I stood my ground. I protected what I built. I refused to go quietly. This is vintage vengeance. This is what it looks like when an elderly woman fights back and wins. If this story resonated with you, if you've been through something similar, or if you know someone who needs to hear this, do me 3 favors. 1, hit that subscribe button right now, because I'm not done telling these stories. There are thousands of elders out there being abused by their own families, and we need to talk about it. 2, share this video. Send it to someone who needs to hear that they're not alone, that they're not crazy, that they have the right to protect themselves. 3, drop a comment and tell me your story. Tell me if you've dealt with this. Tell me if you stood up or if you're still trying to find the courage. Tell me if you think I was too harsh or if I did what I had to do, because this conversation matters. Elder abuse is real. Financial exploitation is real. And we don't talk about it enough because people are ashamed. But I'm not ashamed anymore. I'm 76 years old. I'm living in my house. I'm surrounded by people who actually love me. And I'm at peace. Not because everything worked out perfectly, but because I chose myself when it mattered most. And if I can do it, so can you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And remember, vintage vengeance isn't about being cruel. It's about being strong enough to protect yourself when everyone expects you to just take it. Stay strong. Stay protected. And never, ever let anyone make you feel guilty for refusing to be a victim. I'll see you in the next one.